Good morning, folks. John Havlicek here again today with another edition of Common Grounds, where I talk about the political news of the day, mostly here in Wisconsin, sometimes a national connection, and talk about the things that I think you and I have in common, regardless of how we vote. Okay. First, there's been kind of a growing controversy here on Common Grounds. I've become embroiled in this. One might almost say the seeds of a scandal. It's been like the British tabloids. I had no idea. So I'm going to set the record straight once and for all. Yes, I do have coffee here in my coffee cup. This is not just a cool prop like in the movies. I actually do start my day with a cup of grounds, usually a little cream and a little sugar. All right, but now that that's been laid to rest, let's dive right into it. First thing, we have good news. Two courts have ruled separately and almost simultaneously in the suit brought by Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul and 22 or so other state attorneys general that the Trump FDA and the Trump administration must release these contingency funds to the tune of several $billion to continue to fund SNAP benefits. The Trump administration and the Trump FDA were kind of arguing that that's not what that money was for. But these different judges have said, yeah, that's exactly what that money's for. This is an emergency. Okay. So they're supposed to release that money as quickly as they can. In Wisconsin, that means about 700,000 people will be able to get the groceries they need. And across the country, it's about 40 million people. And to me, that's a huge win for those attorneys general. Then, I did read, in a related topic here, I did read just a very interesting opinion piece, column, I guess, in the New York Times, the Washington Post. I read Reuters too. I also read the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. Excellent publications. And this author was kind of making the argument that this is a flaw in the system, the SNAP benefits, that this many people are receiving benefits, that they must be abusing the system somehow. It was never intended for this, da-da-da-da-da. And I felt like, you know what? That person's got their opinion, I guess. I look at it the opposite way. I think the flaw in the system is that employers, to such a large degree, are able to not pay living wages. They're the ones who are taking advantage of the system, who are abusing the system, because they're not paying a living wage, knowing that I'm not content. You're probably not willing to live in a country that lets people starve because they can't buy groceries, or lets them die because they can't get health care. Especially when these folks are working. The vast majority of them that are able to work are working jobs. They're willing to work. So I think these employers are the ones who are abusing the system. I'm not an economist. I'm not a government person. Honestly, I wish that these big employers like Walmart that pay sub-living wages, if their employees qualify for benefits, I think that corporation should be taxed to recover those benefits. Okay? And I'll give you an example here. Walmart's a great example. Okay? The Walmart heirs, and you can check me on this, the Walmart heirs collectively are worth $430 billion. Billion. And yet a study back in 2014 suggests that Walmart Supercenter, with about 400 employees, that's about an average supercenter, those employees collectively qualify for about $1 million in government assistance every year. So Walmart is basically just skimming money. The Walmart heirs are just skimming money off the top and put it in their pocket. You and I are subsidizing that. Okay? And I don't think the solution is to let these employees starve or go without health care. Right? Of the, another number here, and please go ahead and do the same research that I do, right? Of the 10 states with the highest poverty levels in our country, the folks that qualify for government assistance, 8 of those states in 2024 voted for President Trump. now President Trump. Okay. I think, he's now telling them to go pound sand, which is too bad. Okay. All right. Moving on to the other big topic that is influencing the shutdown, because we're still in the middle of it, right, is the Affordable Care Act, the ACA, Obamacare, Marketplace, the subsidies, however you're referring to this program, right? And I'm not going to give you numbers on this one. Okay, I just whipped through a bunch of numbers. Some of you maybe your heads are spinning a little bit. Here's what I'm going to ask you. Do you get insurance through your employer? I do. Okay. Most of us do. Okay. Are you happy with your insurance? Like, I'm really not. Like, my insurance has gotten worse for the last 10 years, for sure. 15 years, probably. Are you content with letting your employer dictate your insurance coverage? I mean, that's really where we're at today, right? 50 years ago, health insurance was much cheaper, and it was a really good benefit for employers to offer, right? Because then they could draw better employees. Hey, come work for us. We offer health insurance, okay? But now that situation has reversed, and it's become like this albatross across our necks. We can't leave a job if we might then go without insurance. We can't start a small business. That entrepreneur can't start a small business if we won't be able to get insurance. We can't, take a chance and bet on ourselves if we won't be able to get health care. We can't retire. We will have to work until we can no longer work if we can't get health care. Most folks out in the marketplace are working in sub-living wage jobs. See the discussion on Walmart. Or they're small business owners. Or they work at small businesses that simply aren't big enough to offer things like health insurance. Or they're farmers. Or they're retirees who don't qualify for Medicare. Okay? But how many of us, you, me, person lives down the street, might consider changing jobs or starting a small business, but we can't because we are chained to our jobs because we need the health insurance, right? So I'm going to leave you with a couple of questions and a book, okay? So first one, grab your phone, grab your tablet or your laptop or wherever you do some research. What is the history of the Affordable Care Act? What was the situation before that? How did it come into play? And what was it trying to do? Okay, that's number one. Number two, and this is a longer one. I'll put it in the comment section as well. How much does someone in the middle class, right, that's me, in the United States pay for health care as a percentage of their salary compared to other Westernized nations? So that's going to be, Sweden, France, Japan, Germany, Canada, Australia. How much do we pay compared to them? Okay. And then just a plug for a book. I get no royalties from the book. Don't worry about that. There was a book by a guy named T.R. Reid back in 2009 called The Healing of America. And I highly recommend it. It is eye-opening. All right. That's it for today. I know it was a long one. Have a good day.